welcome. I see there are 3 of you tuned in. Thank you for joining, Pigeon and me. I'm Kym Zest, and my husband Will and I own Zest Ed. If you joined early and are phone rolling, feel free to continue to do so through this intro. You might use this time to finish setting up as well. I will not be playing any music, but you are welcome to do so in your home. You'll also need several different kinds of props, just makes things a lot more comfortable. Soft, malleable props such as a yoga mat, blankets, or towels. Thicker, soft props such as pillows. And then stiffer props, I've got yoga blocks and a foam roller, but Tupperware or books also work well. And then of course, if you have any fuzzy companions as your props, make sure you've got those on hand. The benefit of doing this practice on YouTube Live is that we've set aside this time to have a shared experience together, yet without being able to see each other, then the temptation to peek and look, compare and judge ourselves to other people is lessened. We will begin with a couple of movement flows, followed by a seated meditation. Tonight we will do 3 yin postures before a final relaxation. During this time, there is no correct alignment or right posture because we're not adding any force and we're not striving for any progression. It should be comfortable. It should feel intuitive in your body. For each yin posture, I will demonstrate several different setups, starting without any props and then adding different props and different variations to feel a line of fascial tension throughout your body. After my demo, I will return to a seated posture to watch the time, and you will stay in the posture for 2 to 3 minutes. Whatever position you land in and settle into, it should feel safe to release all muscular effort and trying. It should feel that you can stay comfortably and experience quiet sensations. This is a practice of patience, stillness, and subtlety. Let's begin. First, by moving my fuzzy prop. I'm going to begin on a soft cushion for my knees and ankles. I'm going to begin on my shins with my knees together and feet close together. And you may feel tension in the tops of your ankles, shins, and the tops of your knees. Sit back only as far as you feel comfortable, right? So wherever you find that tension, whether it's leaning forward slightly or further back, take a round of breath. And then we're going to sit up and tuck the toes and feel a line of tension in the sole of your foot. Sit only as far back, so if just tucking a little bit is enough, that's fine, or sit further back. Round of breath. And we'll just do this a handful more times. Pointing the toes, sitting back as far as is comfortable. Tucking the toes, and again, sitting as far back as is comfortable. One more round. For our next flow, we're going to set up a sort of deep squat. And you might choose to use your soft prop to just prop underneath the heels. That often makes this feel a little more comfortable or accessible. You might also end up being higher up, or your heels might be off the ground entirely. That's fine. But you want to find a comfortable place, wide kneed position that you can relax into, allow the head to bow, the spine to round, right? Whether it's lower or higher. And then lifting the head, opening the chest, pulling the shoulder blades back, wherever that is for you. And flowing through just 2 more of these, rounding and lifting. Nice, smooth breath. Now leaving one hand on the floor, take the other hand and reach it up towards the ceiling. Take a handful of breaths here. And then other side. Okay. And then from our squat, you might stay just where you were. I'm just going to turn around for your view. From this squat, you're going to gently begin to straighten the knees, pressing the heels into the ground. And the knees might stay in a soft bent position, spine round, head hanging heavy. You might be looking between your knees or eyes closed. Hands might be brushing the ground, or you might grab your elbows. And then strengthening and engaging the back of the legs, using the muscles to sort of straighten the knees, straighten the spine, squeeze the shoulder blades of the head together, neck long, long breath here. And then allow the knees to soften, the spine to round, the head to hang. Engage, straightening legs, straightening spine, lifting. Couple of rounds, taking a nice deep breath in each place. And then when you're ready, gently making your way to seated. So, little transition time before we sort of get set up for our meditation. I'm going to introduce our sort of meditation and visualization for today. We will begin with centering on your breath, and then I will invite you to visualize your personal happy place. This could be a specific location or an action, but it should bring you a sense of peace and joy. It should be something that you've experienced bringing you those feelings and sensations. It might be a specific location. It could be a place from your childhood, or it could be a favorite body of water, a favorite tree, somewhere in your yard. Anywhere specific that you can place yourself in. Or it might be a simple repetitive movement that really brings you joy and peace. So for example, running, swimming, biking, or whatever brings you that sensation and is a simple repetitive motion. If it is an action, the place might be very generic. So you might simply place yourself outdoors or in a really simple place. When we do that visualization, just like any other meditation, distraction is normal, and it might come from my end of the camera, from inside your environment in your home, or it might come from inside yourself physically or mentally. Wherever the source, allow yourself to acknowledge it, allow it to pass, and come back to your breath and visualize your happy place. So you might be thinking about what you want to choose as your happy place visualization as we get set up for comfortable seated meditation. You might choose to sit in a chair if that's readily available. Feel free to do so. If you're on the ground, oftentimes you can sit propped up, and you can sit propped up either with your legs extended in front, crossed, or folded back. Patting anywhere where there's pressure with the ground or with yourself, and then often sitting on something, whatever you have available to you. Raising the hips often creates a little more comfort and space. So as you get yourself set up and adjusted, you can have palms down, palms up, or clasped in your lap. Settling in, making any final adjustments. And then finding stillness. And as you allow yourself to re-arrive in this space at this time, find your breath. No need to make it change. Simply observe its sensation, its rhythm, its movement through your body. Now gently invite a visualization that brings you joy and peace. allowing yourself to see and let pass any distractions, including those from within your visualization, returning to breath and settling in a simple and safe sensation and visualization. Begin to gently lengthen and deepen your breath. Exhales where the navel draws in, compressing the last of the air out. Inhales that release abdominal tension and allow the air to flood back in. Inhales that lift and expand. Exhales that deepen and ground. Feeling your breath move throughout your body. Belly and chest, but also into your ribs and back. Feeling your breath move through your throat into the crown of your head and down into the tailbone towards the floor. Take another round of breath or two and nod your chin towards your chest. Open your eyes and we introduce any movement, fingers, wrists, rolling shoulders, neck circles, perhaps some side bends or twists. Stretching out the legs or hugging them in close. Wiggling the toes. For our first yin posture, I'm going to maintain having a little padding between me and the floor. And you'll take one leg and fold it bent in front of you and one leg extended behind you. And this folded leg in front might be very deeply folded with the toe and shin pointing back towards the other leg and the other hip, or it might come further out, shin parallel with the front of sort of your mat or object, foot kicking out in front of you, wherever it is comfortable for you. So this is sort of our base position. We're going to feel lots of lines of tension, depending on how you set up slightly, but a lot in sort of the hips and groin area. In the front folded leg, you might feel something in the outer hip or inner thigh. In the back leg, you might feel something in the front of the hip, right? And we might also, depending on your setup, feel something along the spine. So I might choose a setup that is fairly upright or folded forward. And you might even choose, it might depend on whether you want to be draped more to one side or the other. And then in many cases, having no props is going to feel too intense and not safe enough to let go of sort of muscular holding, or safe enough to feel like you can stay in the position for the 2 to 3 minutes, which is what's needed to really allow your nervous system to turn that constant tension off and get into that fascial tissue. So in many cases, finding some props to prop perhaps under the chest or under the hips. I'm just going to show you the other side so you can see the hip a little bit better. So I might prop under the hips, in which case maybe I'll use other props for under my forehead. Right? So hips and chest and forehead are really common areas to prop. Feel free to invent and find your own propping and your own setups. You might also depend on how you have your arms. Just at the sides might be good, or extended out. Entirely optional. So go ahead and figure out your position. It might be different from day to day, from each practice. What you need on any given day, how your body's responding. And then gently allow that time for exploration and fidgeting to pass. Allow yourself to feel content with wherever you have landed. And as you settle into stillness, let your breath be enough. Letting your breath be all you need letting your breath guide and carry you into releasing effort and tension. Allowing yourself to simply notice the shifting sensations without any need to direct them. Gently lengthening and deepening your breath, allowing your breath to help you gently transition using your arms to help lift your head and upper body. Nice and slow, you might stay in that leg folded position, just propping yourself up, twisting, reaching. Or you might curl both legs underneath you. Or you might lie on the ground on your belly. Or you might lift the hips high in a downward dog. These transition times are as important as the stillness. It is important to have these times where, coming out of stillness, you allow your body to carry you into any movement that feels good, that your body needs. So allowing yourself to shift and move, to stretch for strength. And then gently begin setting up your other side. Folding one leg underneath you, extending the other long, experimenting with how it feels, even just sitting up, sitting taller, being higher up, sinking lower, and then leaning forward, allowing the head to bow, figuring out what props will help you feel safe and supported. And then settling in. Finding peace in simply watching your breath and watching your body unwind, let go. Allowing yourself to observe any shifting and changing sensations without need to do anything about them. Gently lengthening and deepening your breath. Allowing your breath to either help you savor where you have landed or begin to carry you out, taking your time in this transition to follow wherever your body leads. And now, for this next posture, I'm going to start without anything at all. And encourage pigeon to just move slightly. I'm going to lie on my back. And I'm going to take both my legs and walk them to my right, stopping where I feel a line of tension on my left side of my body, primarily in the hip, but extending towards the knee and up towards the ribs. I might leave my legs parallel, or I might cross left over right. Whichever you do, allow both hips to feel supported by the floor and not allow this to turn into a twist. And then I will take my shoulders and shimmy them towards my towards my right, extending the left arc into my ribs. And then I'll take my left hand and left arm, and I might just leave it at my at the side of my shoulder, right? And welcome just a gentle stretch in my pec, in the chest. This might feel wonderful. Or I might extend that line and straighten the arm a little bit, feeling that line go up through the armpit and perhaps into the arm a little bit. But I will stop where it still feels supported, and this is where we might add some other props. So if it feels good to have the arm further overhead, but the elbow is coming up off the ground slightly, you might take one of your props and prop up the arm. You might also prop where there's simply too much pressure with the ground, so underneath the heels is common. So I might slide my prop over to prop underneath my heels. I might need propping underneath my head, and I might want other props underneath a knee or both knees. You want to find a place where you are in an arc with your body feeling a line of stretch, starting from the left hip, extending down towards the knee, moving up through the ribs and possibly into the chest, armpit area, into that arm, all on the left side of your body, while your body feels supported by the floor and is not twisting at all. Allowing yourself to settle there. Allow it to be okay that there is nothing to do other than breathe. Gently lengthening and deepening your breath. Gently bringing the legs and arms back to neutral. And then finding whatever movement calls to you, stretching long and big, maybe hugging the knees in tight, perhaps extending the legs up, rocking side to side, perhaps doing a bridge, lifting the hips high, or swishing the knees side to side. And then gently begin setting up the other side. Walking legs towards the left. Shimmying shoulders towards the left. Taking the right arm and experimenting with where it feels best. Further is not better. Right? Go farther and then come back. You might discover you get more out of less. So as you experiment with different setups and different props, and then settle in. There is no need to chase or hold on to a particular sensation. Some sensations will start out stronger and fade, and then other sensations might arise and become more noticeable. Let gravity be enough. Allow yourself to be truly passive and simply allow anything to arise or unfold. Gently lengthening and deepening your breath. And gently coming out and taking whatever movements call to you. Allowing yourself to explore these movements. No need to do them all. Now we'll do our last yin posture. I am going to start with just a nice pad underneath my legs. I'm going to have both legs going off into the same direction, feet going the same way, knees bent and facing the same way. So feet one way, knees the other. And you might just in this position notice that you need legs closer together or further apart, or more bent, or more open, whatever suits you. We're gonna end up just sitting here. You might notice some tension in the hips, in the outer hips. Also, this back foot, you might have the foot flexed or pointed, whatever feels better for the knee. From here, sitting up tall, and then I'm going to turn away from my feet and place my hands on the floor on my knee side. In here, and now we're introducing a twist and feeling sort of lines of fascial tension, that connective tissue through the abdomen in this twist. And you might choose this as your final variation, or you might walk the hands out. Or forearms down. Wherever you land, make sure the head allows to hang so that can find rest. And wherever you are, and if we want to get a little deeper, or extend the arm more fully, then prop wherever there is space and wherever you might feel in need of that. So I might add cushions underneath my chest, or I might have something underneath my forehead, or I might use a prop underneath an arm. I might also need to adjust the legs, either more bent, more straight, further back, so that you're feeling that line of tension through the abdomen, possibly through the shoulder, certainly through the hip. So play with your setup, play with different positions. Play with the level and where you want support. And then settle into stillness, allowing your body to be soft, allowing your body to be supported, allowing your mind to find ease in simply watching your breath and watching sensation without any need to judge, analyze, or do. Allow yourself to simply melt into the floor. Gently lengthening and deepening your breath. And gently coming out, using your arms to help lift your head and torso. Untwisting, sitting back up. And then again, taking any movement that calls to you. And then begin setting up your other side. You might find that the other side needs drastically different things, and that is okay, right? Find what this side needs, what will feel comfortable and safe. That safety and time allows your body to do things it wouldn't and couldn't otherwise do. Experimenting with positions and props. Settling in. Gently lengthen and deepen your breath. And then as you gently use your arms to help lift you out of the posture, unwind and sit up. Taking any movement or stillness that calls to you. Little transition before our final relaxation. And in true cat form, pigeons on my stuff. So go ahead and lie down for our final relaxation. And you might use one of your blankets to cover you or cover your eyes. You might use a pillow or prop underneath your knees. allowing yourself to lie in a comfortable, neutral position. Allowing yourself to simply notice any changes or effects of this practice, and watching your breath flow in waves, flowing in and out. Gently lengthen and deepen your breath. Active breaths lead to active motions, fingers, toes, ankles, wrists. And then stretch out long and tall before hugging in tight as a ball. And rolling onto your side. From your side, using your arms to help sit you up. And come to a comfortable seated position. We'll take 3 breaths together to conclude. We'll inhale through the nose and exhale audibly out the mouth. Together. In through the nose. One more. Thank you, the 7 of you, for joining me tonight. I hope you enjoyed this. Please share your experience, feedback, or suggestions in the comments of this live stream or in my email, Kym, Kym, @zested.net. You can visit our website to join our mailing list to stay sort of up to date on any information or news. And then you can also follow us on Instagram or Facebook. If you really appreciate the service, you can show us by either donating at paypal.me/zested. You can also share in any format, email, social media that works for you. Both of those things really help us feel appreciated and keep this service sustainable. Have a peaceful night.